Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. In today's video we are doing a video about friendship and specifically about advice giving, but also not just being that person who just replies with trying to problem solve someone else's issue, but more around that, how to be a good listener and a good responder at the time. So here are my top tips for giving good advice. Number one is respectfully shut up and listen. Give this person the time they deserve and the attention they deserve in this moment, and just make sure you're being a really good friend to them. Don't be thinking about what you have for dinner later. Don't be thinking about those important messages you've got to get back to. This person is in vulnerable emotional need and you are their friend, so give them the time, just as you would like them to give to you. Secondly, ask questions. Don't just jump into giving advice as soon as someone's finished speaking, because there might be details they missed in their explanation of what's going on that might affect your advice. And if it's a question that might be slightly personal, just make sure you phrase it in a respectful way, like, hey, do you mind if I ask you this? Can I ask? And then they've got the opportunity whether they want to share that information or not, because they might have left it out on purpose. In the same way, be careful not to overly ask questions, especially about things that aren't essentially relevant, because it can come across like you're just a bit of a gossip and you just want to know the dirty details. So be thoughtful about the kind of questions you ask. Thirdly, sometimes it's good to just listen. And this is where one of my favourite films comes in. This film is In Her Shoes. It's got Toni Collette in it, so I absolutely love it because I adore her. And there's a really great exchange in this film, which is one of the many reasons why I love it so much. And it's between one of the main characters, Rose, and one of her close friends, Amy. And Rose is confiding in Amy and telling her about what's going on, and she's really broken and upset over this. And Amy's response has some foul language in it, so I will, be discreet about that. But basically she says, which one are you crying about? The predator or the brains tramp? Because neither one deserves your tears. And I just love Rose's reply. She says, you know, Amy, I'm sure you're right, but sometimes I just wish you'd say, boy, that sucks, and I'm really sorry it happened to you. And I just love this. It's so refreshing to have a nice shortcut situation in a film where she just says, hey, I don't need your advice, I just want empathy and kindness and understanding. And it's okay to just ask someone in the moment, hey, how can I best help you with this? And it might be that they really just want to talk at you and offload their feelings. It might be that they want you to offer your kind of solutions, or it might be that they just want to go out and just go shopping, have a meal, do a fun activity and have a bit of a distraction. And especially don't do what Amy did and respond with gossip, because particularly when someone is very emotional and they're confiding in you, they might be extra tempted to think about the people involved in the situation in a really negative way, and sometimes something that's not actually in a way that's not fair, and start to just use words which are unkind, like in this situation. Whereas you, who's someone outside the situation, who's a bit more neutral, you've got a really good opportunity here to embed some maturity into the situation and make sure that you're speaking about things with kindness and understanding on both ends, and that will actually be more helpful, especially if the person who has confided in you has misunderstood the situation. It would be awful if you go along with it and say, oh gosh, yeah, that person's this, that and the other, but actually that person hasn't done something wrong and it's just some miscommunication. So try to be the person who is just trying to understand the situation and guide the person through it. So you can play the role of helping the person confiding in you understand their feelings, understand the situation, consider it from a different angle, as well as just being really understanding of their feelings and supportive. Then that is going to be a really, really good role for you and a really good mark of your character. Number 4, I know this might be obvious, but let's just acknowledge that it's very hard sometimes not to say I told you so. And even if you don't say it in those words, even if you say it slightly differently or it comes across in your tone or in your face, we've just got to avoid that, because not only will it make the other person feel really tiny and small, it actually is not very good for you as a person. You've got to make sure that your intentions for giving this person advice is not to make yourself feel better and get the affirmation that you deserve for saying the right thing all that time ago, but actually you're there to love this person and help them through their situation. And chances are they already know that what you said at the beginning was right. But it's not helpful for them to acknowledge that right now, because what they're dealing with at the moment, their situation is much bigger than giving you the credit for being right at the time. So just be that friend who is continually supportive, and you make other people safe to just return to you for more advice and wisdom, and make sure that that wisdom you're giving is coming with humility and patience. Again, maybe another obvious one is try not to make it all about you. Sometimes it's really helpful to bring up your own experiences and use that in this context. And other times the person on the receiving end of that just thinks you're making it all about you and you're not really listening to them. So if you are going to bring up a situation you've been in which you think will help, just try to communicate that in a way that really applies it back to the situation, and don't talk about yourself for extended periods of time that's longer than necessary. But also remember that on the flip side, sometimes it is a great sign, again, of your humility to just hold your hands up and say, oh man, I've never been in that situation before, I don't really know what that's like. And you can still offer a solution, but maybe just phrase it in a certain way as, well, I imagine if that was me, I would do this. Or instead of trying to do guesswork and imagine what your solution would be in this situation, try to guide them into making their own solution. And that is the next point. Rather than telling them, hey, you should do this or you should do that, try to teach them the brain tools for working it out themselves. So maybe ask them, hey, if you did this, how do you think that would turn out? Or what if you did it this way? Do you think that would be a better option for you? Not only does that teach them how to navigate the situation themselves with support from you, so that then when you're outside this context, they can remember that to ask themselves those questions, and in a new situation, new problem they've got, they can use those tools to work out for themselves. But also, it covers your back in case you give bad advice, because you might be giving bad advice. That also means that if what they choose goes wrong for them, it doesn't come back on you, and they can't blame you for it because they have got the responsibility for their own decisions in the same way that you do for yours. And lastly, make sure to check in with that person once this time has passed, maybe the next day, maybe the next week. Make sure that you're asking them, hey, how are things going? I'm still thinking of you. I'm still here if you need me. And that is just such a great way to help your friends feel valued by you, and a great way for them to do that for you in return. And also, if you are a Christian, this is a really great time for you to offer prayer support for that person. Whether they want to pray together now, maybe they want you to pray for them later, or maybe they say no and they don't want that prayer. The fact that you have offered that might be really meaningful to them. And if you are a praying person, then you'll probably have a really great understanding of just how powerful prayer can be. So that's a really important thing to offer, and not to just gloss over that. Because ultimately, with the same point, you know, linking into I told you so, we don't want to make us look better. If anything, we want to make God look really good. We want this person to understand how they can come to us for support, but they can also go to God, who is even better than us. So if we can encourage them to tune into that as well, that could just really benefit them. So make sure to create the opportunity for that. It doesn't have to be weird, it doesn't have to be too intense. So there we go, those are my tips, those are my ideas for how you can be an even better advice giver and responder in these kind of situations. Let me know if you've got any other tips that you would add in. Also, let me know if you want to do any other, if you want me to do any other videos on this kind of friendship thing. We could make it a series, and I reckon this would be a really nice thing to get into. Like, wouldn't the world just be so much better if we were all better friends for those around us? So yeah, let me know, but in the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!